Tell you what, I believe y'all laugh more at my stuff than anywhere I go. I think y'all can relate to me a little better maybe on that. And that probably is not a good testimony for y'all because y'all probably crazy too. But it is on there. But if you notice, I'm wearing a name tag. It says S-K-I-T. I used to have an uncle, and he called me S-K-I-T, Skit. He called me Skit all the time to get on my nerves. He said I was crazy as a little boy. I mean, he said he always went around, he telling me I was up to something funny. And he said one day that, boy, you're going to make some people laugh when you get older. So I was like, maybe he was right. And so, anyway, so I titled this, Hello, my name is Skit, okay? So hopefully it'll be funny to you. But I do want you to know right off at the beginning, I'm going to share some stories. I want you to know I'm not glorifying any of the sin, whether it be mine or my family. Let me tell you, the devil, he was after me and after my family, just like he has been everybody's here. And so I want you to know, but I can look back and I can see the Lord Jesus protecting me and helping me even way back yonder when I was a little boy. And so when I think about Uncle Ern, who's called me a Skit, he was about dead, okay? He couldn't hear. And I can relate to him now because I'm always doing, what? Huh? You know what I mean? Anybody like that right here? Well, I'm going to tell you. And so he drove the school bus. He had been in the military a long time. He come back retired. And anyway, he drove the school bus. We could scream. We could holler. We could jump up and down. We could go all over just having a blast on that bus. I mean, just jumping from one seat to the next. And he never got in trouble. And every time somebody asked, how are they on the bus? And he would say, oh, they ain't no trouble at all, you know. But I do remember one time I was on the bus, and of course I got on it, and I wasn't the best little boy, but anyway, one day the bus stopped. I was on the bus, but the door opened up, and Ern looked, outside and seen my grandmother out in the yard. Then he looked back in the back. He seen my grandmother, and she's coming out. They didn't get along very well, so he was getting nervous, okay? Now, I don't know why that he would be nervous, because a few years before that, for about 6 or 8 inches of land in there, he put a fence over it on Mama's land. And she put a bullet right behind the bus thing right here. Yeah, she shot a scoop. Y'all know that's a federal offense. I'm telling you. So he was a little nervous sitting there parked. And finally, he said, looked out through there, and he looked back at me, and he said, he'll be there in just a minute. The problem is, that little boy who was supposed to get off at his mama's house was back in the back, fighting 2 boys back there in the back there, He couldn't hear it, but he could see it, but he was getting nervous. And so what he did is, he just kept on going and brought me back later. He didn't want to get in trouble with Mama. He said, we'll be back, and just kept on going down through there. So Uncle Ern, he couldn't hear good, but you know what? I loved him, man. I'm going to tell you what. Do you know that in my life, I love old people? I do too. And you know what now? I love myself. I've gotten old myself, and I've learned there was a lot of bad things going on when I was growing up. But I'm going to tell you what, I always find something to laugh about and lighten it up. My mom and dad divorced when I was 9 years old. They was fussing and fighting and screaming and all kinds of stuff going on. But I'm going to tell you what, when you get in there, you got to find something that can get you through that. Man, I moved in with my grandmother. I was such a troublemaker. I moved in with my grandmother when I was young. And I'm going to tell you what, my grandma, I don't know about y'all, I don't think it's a big a deal here, but man, those tornadoes come through Alabama all the time. They're killing people all the time. Well, I'm going to tell you what, a little bit of wind, and my grandma was saying, we headed to the storm shelter. We headed to the storm shelter. Man, we'd go to that storm shelter. I'd be there all night. I'd be getting in trouble at school because they said, why are you asleep? I've been a storm shelter all right. You know, it's like every little storm we had to go through that. Because one, 10 years before, took the top off of it, and it was like, and man, she was always, and I was sitting there, and I can still right now. Y'all ever been in a storm cellar? Can you smell it right now? Yeah. That's like, and then they had those big old whale crickets in there scaring little kids. I'm telling them things like jump on you, and you're like, I'm going to run out in a tornado. I ain't worried about that thing right now. But I got to thinking about that, and then I mixed it with thinking about today. Okay? I don't know if y'all have to go get tests and stuff done, but it's humiliating. Miss Wright, would you get naked and go over there? We're going to run some tests on you. Mr. Wright, would you bend over? Mr. Wright, we need to take this. Mr. Wright, we need to do this. Mr. Wright, you need to slip this off. Mr. Wright, you need to slip this on. And it's like, I'm feeling so I was nervous in there. I don't like all that stuff. And man, I done laid my wallet down somewhere, man. I was so nervous in there, man. Today I've lost my wallet. Man, it's been crazy today. And I'd say that's a pretty bad day. But it ain't as bad as the story I heard about this guy named Ron. Ron was a diver who repaired offshore drilling rigs, okay? And what happened is sometimes the water would get cold, and they had a $20,000 piece of equipment that he would put into his wetsuit. And it would pump like a garden hose. It would take that water, and then it would bring it up to the heater, and then bring it back. It was like he had a jacuzzi in his wetsuit. He was enjoying that thing, man. He just enjoying it. It was good. It wasn't cold a bit. Well, one day he's down on the bottom of the ocean out there fixing a rig, and he got a little uncomfortable. His back started itching. And he was digging around in that thing, man. He's trying to get it out. And man, then it's like, I got to scratch this. And he started digging and scratching, man. I'm telling you what, he's tearing his own skin off. And then in a little bit, he called the head dive coordinator, and he said, I got to get out of here. And so, man, they started getting him out. He said he's scratching. He's getting up there. They pulled him up out of the water. He didn't have anything on but his diving helmet. He done stretched out everything he had up in there. And what it was, that little hose had sucked up a jellyfish, sent it up to that heater, and that thing was mad, and it done all soft, and then it just splattered that thing all over his bottom. And then he was digging at it. The medic met him as he got up to the top and said, here, put some of this cream on. It's going to burn a while right here, man. And I'm going to tell you, the devil's after us. And he's going to try to burn some people. You know that, right? And I'm going to tell you, sometimes life will burn you a little bit. And so when I got to thinking about that, I said, no, my day's not that bad. I don't think that, I had a jellyfish all over me and stuff. And y'all ever met anybody you thought was smart? For a few minutes. Some of the stories I'm going to tell you today, some of them may be smart, some of them may be dumb, some of them may be me, and somebody, might be, So I won't judge you if you don't judge me. But I'm going to tell you what, it's a good thing I don't believe in chance. I believe in God taking care of us, because I'm going to tell you what, I could not be a gambler, okay? I couldn't. You know why? Well, first of all, it's wrong, but guess what else? I would lose everything I've got. But I found out something this last week that might help y'all if y'all are in the same situation as me. Because if anything comes up, if y'all ever had anything as a 50-50 chance of working out and you thought, hey, that's it, I can win at 50-50, And so anyway, I heard this. It's called the 50-50-90 rule. Anything that you have a 50-50 chance in getting something right, it clarifies that you're going 90% chance of losing that 50%. That's the kind of math that I think goes with me on that, because I am definitely not lucky, so that's probably why I don't believe in it, but I'm sure that's in there. Now, so what happens here is I'm going to tell a couple stories, okay? And if they're not good, don't laugh, because if you laugh, then I'm going to tell another one, and then I may tell another one, and we'll get on the roll, and the last one is a good one, okay? But we got to remember who's after it. The devil. And what does he want to do? He wants to burn us. He wants to burn. He wants to take us to hell. He wants to destroy our life. He wants to burn up everything that we have. Well, when I was little, I know just like some of you, we walked everywhere. Now, some of the time, I was running somewhere, you know. And back then, we walked to our friends' houses. It was like 3, 4, 5 miles. We couldn't trust our grandkids doing that nowadays, could we? Oh, I don't think my mom could have trusted me either back then. But when we get to looking at this, I think we walked everywhere. I would even hitchhike. Y'all, I mean, that's dangerous now. But I used to hitchhike. Well, one day I was headed to town. I used to go fishing, and we'd go in creeks and stuff, and I'd get my little tackle box, and I'd go fishing. And man, I tell you, I'd go down the road and all the time. There'd be people, nice people would pick me up, you know, and they'd take care of, give me a ride. And it's like, you know, it was fun back in those days. Well, one day I'm going to tell you about this. I had a little business in town, which is about, what do you say, 5, 7 miles, something like that. Now, it just seems like longer than that when you're little. But anyway, and so I started out walking toward town, and I'm just going, minding my own business down through here. I got a little business I got to take care of. So anyway, so I get down the road, and the sheriff pulls up. And he said, "Hey, bud, you need a ride?" And I was like, hey, my family ain't known for riding in cars in the front seat. So anyway, so here I am, and I'm sitting in the passenger seat of the car, and he keeps asking me, "What you got in that tackle box?" And I was like, some baits. And what you gonna do? I mean, it sounded like he was a detective instead of a, sheriff. I mean, he just kept asking all these questions. It was like, so I'm getting nervous. I mean, I'm telling you what. And he said, "Well, show me what you got in that tackle box." I was scared to show him what was in that tackle. Oh, I didn't tell y'all what my business was, did I? Oh, my grandmother, she's a bootlegger, and I stole a pint of whiskey from her, and I was taking, because some of the older boys was in town, and they said they'd give me so much money for that pint of whiskey. So I'm riding down the road with the sheriff with a pint of whiskey in my tackle box at 10 years old. And I thought, I'm fixing to go to jail. So finally, he said, "Well, show me your favorite bait. Show me that." So I kind of leaned it out a little bit, where he couldn't see, and I was digging in there, and I'd pull something out, man, and then I'd show it to him. He said, "Oh, that's awesome right there, man." He said, "What else you got in there?" I mean, it's like he knew what was in there. Well, anyway, he did drop me off, and I didn't go to jail or anything. And he said, here's a couple dollars, you can go buy you something with." So you think, you're living in sin like I was at 10 years old. I didn't think, I didn't go to jail for that. I might get in a little more trouble then, because the police can't even catch me. I mean, whoa. But you think about it, and this is amazing, as a little boy, some of the things that I got into. I mean, it's amazing. I don't know, any of y'all ever had a corncob fight? Well, we had a barn next door, and what happened is, we'd get the corn cobs, they'd be dried out, and we would throw them at each other. One team would be outside, one would be up in the barn or down in the barn. They'd be man, they'd be throwing those corn cobs, man. It was like, I always wanted to be upstairs, but the older kids were mean, and they always wanted to hurt us and make us cry and go home and fuss. They didn't want us to play anyway, and so they just beat the fire out of it. But I'm going to tell you, some people thought I was dumb growing up, but I'm going to tell you what. Well, maybe you need to decide. But here it is. Let me tell you something. I figured out. They're bigger, they're stronger, they can throw in things and hurt us. But what they don't know is cows poop and urinate. And if you'll soak them corn cobs in that stuff for a little bit, and I'm telling you what, I was ready. Me and Don Ray, buddy, we ready for it. And I will never forget, because I'm still running in my heart right now. One of them was up there going, "Nah, nah, nah, y'all bunch of little sissies." And I grabbed a big, juicy corn cob. It was dripping out my hand. And I said, "Whoo, whoo, 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 whoo," and it hit him. What? Right in the face. And I'm telling you what, He was already on me before I knew what happened. He done jumped down on there, beating the fire out of him. And my friend Don Ray, he's over there, because we had stash. That was the first one. And he's over there throwing them at him from 3 foot, but he's just getting them in the head with them things. And they're going, ah, ah. I'm going to tell you, sometimes it's just better to stay away from smart people. You know, I'm telling you, you got to be careful on that. Well, let me tell you one more story. And this is one of my favorites. My kids love this story. My son thought I was lying about it, and so we went to 2 of the people that were involved in it, and I said, I want y'all to tell my son this story. And both of them told it exactly the way it was, and so one of them's dead now, so I hope I might want to be disrespectful to him a little bit. But I'm going to tell you, we used to go in, and you know, we didn't have nothing to do, but on some weekends, people would say, you know that haunted house down there? I'll give you $20 if you'll stay the night in that thing. Well, me and Don Ray and Ricky, sometimes we'd get in there and we'd stay the night in it. Man, it didn't scare us. We'd say, the scarier the better, man. Because we didn't have any way to make money. You know, we couldn't always get our tackle box full of something and take it all the way to town. You know? But, so here we are. We're doing this, and then all of a sudden, you know, it's pretty good. Because we used to camp out on the river. Now, we didn't have tents back in them days. We camped out on the edge of the river. I mean, there's moccasins, and I mean, there's all kind of things I could tell you. Got in sleeping bags and stuff, but I don't have time to tell that. But it would be funny, but I'm on a time limit here. Some of y'all's already put me on time limit, so I got to be careful. So anyway, one day we're going to go camping, and we've been excited about it all week, and it's got to the weekend. Me and Don Ray get picked up from school by a cousin, and it's like, we're going to go camping, man. We're excited. We've been packing everything, getting it all ready. We're excited, man. Y'all ever been excited about something? Well, it rained all day on Friday. So anyway, he said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I know an old house out in the woods. We'll go camp out inside the house tonight. Okay? And, all right, yeah. So, you know, we go as we get all of our stuff. I go in, my grandma starts stealing stuff like beanie weenies and cheese and ham. And, you know, and she's going, I'm going to pay for it later, but I mean, not in money. I'm going to pay for it. And y'all know what I'm talking about, right? I was a mean little devil. But anyway, we were ready to camp out. It's raining, it's pitiful, man, I'm telling you what. And so what happens is that we said it, we got everything out of the car. I mean, we're talking about, my cousin had a Camaro in it, and it was nice, man. So there's 4 of us, and we're getting out, we're unloading everything. I mean, the porch is going, I mean, it's like you're about to fall through it. And the house on the inside, you can count the chickens through the floor if they would have been chickens. I mean, it's like gaps all in that thing. So anyway, so we unpack everything, and Don Ray has borrowed his daddy's army canvas because we was going to go outside, so we wouldn't have been on the wet floor. But anyway, so we spread that thing out in that big living room right there. Me and Don Ray put our sleeping bags, because we know it's already getting cold, and we're going to get close to the fire tonight. So anyway, we're all situated, we eating, having a good time, playing canasta and some card games and stuff. And Don Ray said, well, I'm going to go get some more firewood, because we brought some, and it's like, and all of a sudden, man, Don Ray's out getting firewood, and it sounds like, snap, pop. And he comes in, man, he's got like boards that you build a house with. I mean, they're laying out, some of them about this long, you know. And so here we are, we're getting ready, we're winding down the games, and Ricky and them say they're going to go to bed. And so we're sitting there, and Ricky says, well, you know, because, you know, he's older, he's responsible. He knows me and Don Ray can't trust us, you know. And so he says, y'all watch that fire now, because they're sticking out from the concrete. They're out on the wood right there. And then, of course, you know, Don Ray said, oh, man, I'm staying up all night. I ain't going to sleep anyway, so I'll make sure I keep putting them back in there. And for a while, we kept putting them in there, you know. Every once in a while, I'd miss Don Ray. He'd be gone. He'd go, and so, man, I'm telling you, I was like, what is that noise out there? And he said, I'm just getting a little wood. Don't worry about it. Just getting a little wood. So anyway, I fell asleep. Now, I want to tell y'all the truth, and I can't walk around, but I need to because I'm scared. Okay? I was scared. I woke up, or before I woke up, I was dreaming. And I was dreaming I was in hell. Now, it may not scare y'all, but I woke up in hell, and I could feel the heat on my face. I could feel after a while, it was like my feet were on fire. It's because they were on fire. He had left them boards in there, and it's about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and my sleeping bag has burned all the way up to my bare feet inside that thing. And I'm like, ah! You know what I mean? It's like this. And so the wall is on fire, the floor is on fire, Don Ray's daddy's canvas is on fire. Oh, this ain't gonna be good. So I looked around. There ain't anything except a cooler that had a couple slices of bologna in it. So I grabbed that cooler and threw it at the wall. It went right through the wall. The wall. And man, it's like, and so we're running around, trying to stomp out everything. Man, we're trying to get it out. Everybody, get it out, get it out, get it out, get it out, get it out. And we're just panicking. And so Ricky said, "Right, grab everything. We gotta get out of here because it's about. I mean, it's like it's gone, and we're in the middle of it." So I grabbed it, kicked that door open, run out the porch, and went, voila! Fell across a board where the porch used to be. That Don Ray had took the porch boards up to build a fire, and I done walked out. I was bleeding and scratched and burnt. Man, finally we got everything in the car. We start down the road. Whoa! Man, that thing would go fast. And Ricky looks over and says, "I ain't got my glasses. I left my glasses in the fire." The only one old enough to drive, and he ain't got his glasses. And his glasses about that thick, too, man. I tell you, I'm like, ah! So we pulled up at this house down the road, and we said, "We got to use your phone. Some idiot teenagers has done set a fire in the woods over at that old house over there." And so we called the sheriff's department, and we said, "There's a fire going on over there. We don't know who set it up, but we rode by and saw it, lying like the devil again, you know." So anyways, we thought everything. So all right, we got to get out of here. So, man, we get in that car, we're going wide open, Ricky's flying all over the place because he can't see. All of a sudden, I look back in the back. Flames are coming out of the trunk of the car because the canvas and the sleeping bags have lit back up again. So here we are. Fire truck's probably on its way now. We think we're going to go to jail. And here we are on the side of the road with everything out. Doing this right here in the middle of the road, stopping the fire right here. So I'm going to tell you, the devil's after us. He's a lie, and he's got fire with him to hurt you. But you need to do like we did and keep on going. And sometimes it will still get you. Because we rode around till daylight. We thought we rode around daylight, it won't look suspicious. That's how dumb we were. We pulled in a little bit after daylight, Don Ray's house. I'll never forget it. Whew. It's scaring me right now, man. My heart's full. Don Ray's dad was waiting on him. It's like he knew. And we're sitting out there, and we're like, don't unpack the stuff. Don't get it out, because he's going to see that canvas. It looked like a giant shark that was on fire had done bit into that thing. I mean, it was like terrible. And it was just like, and he's going to kill us, because I bet he said 20 times, "You better take care of that thing, boy." So anyway, he comes out over there, and he got that mean look on his face. And he says, "Go on and get that stuff out." Some of it's still smoking. Yeah. And I'm thinking, Don Ray Daddy, he did some discipline. I said, "That ain't going to be the only thing on fire here in just a minute." He said, "Y'all two, you stay right there. I got something for y'all." And it took a while, because I thought if he's going to whoop him, it'd be fast. Y'all, you know, when they get mad, they do it. And so I'm sitting over there, because we've been up all night. I'm like, about that time, I heard a wabba! Ah! I thought I'd drop back in hell again, man. I jumped up, and man, I seen the second one. It looked like he done had a tree about that big around, and it was going through there, going, and he popped Don Ray again. And I said, "Ah!" And he said, "You're next." But he didn't know what happened, this little boy. I'm still running. I took off through them woods and he ain't seen me yet. I'm telling you what, I'm gone. Because I'm going to do that for the devil too. I'm going to keep on running away from that devil because he's after you. He's trying to burn you. And you better keep running. Thank y'all.